Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's English live English lesson here on the AM Language YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing very well on this fine Wednesday afternoon. In today's lesson, we are looking at my apartment experience. So in this lesson, you can expect, hello, Irina, good afternoon. So in this lesson, you can expect to see a little bit of my apartment, but we'll also have a little look at language that you would need to know when it comes to homes, really, not just apartments, but homes. So as always, guys, make sure if this is your first time, subscribe to the channel. So important to subscribe to the channel. And Leandino, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. And buono pomeriggio. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And what else? Like and share the video. So another thing is, it probably won't be this week. Next week, there'll be another short video out. It'll be the 11th short video, and the topic is going to be very useful to everybody. So make sure you keep tuned for that. As for, okay, so this past week, we've looked at quite a few things already. Where's my phone? And as always, I forget what we have looked at. I have forgotten what we've looked at. So, just while we're waiting for more people to join us. So yeah, Monday we looked at the best and worst ways to learn a language. And we looked a little bit at first conditional. Tuesday, we looked at happy money theory and education. So today's my apartment experience. Thursday, habits and hobbies to cope with anxiety. Make sure you join me for that one tomorrow. And Friday, music, English, word building. So that's what the week is looking like at the moment. While we wait for people, a general question about an apartment. And that is the main question, which is, what do you think of ground floor apartments? So let me know what you think about this. What do you think of ground floor apartments? You know what it is? Ground floor apartments. Hello, Alida. Good afternoon. Buenos dias. Ground floor apartments. Let me know what you think about ground floor apartments. So I don't know what it's like in other countries. Ground floor is the floor. You take no stairs. It's street level. Your apartment is street level. It's not the first floor. It's ground floor. Ground floor is always street level. First floor is the next floor up. You have to walk up some stairs to get to the first floor. What do you think of the ground floor flats? Do you like them? Do any of you live in ground floor apartments? Do you think, are they safe? I think this is one of the questions I have when I look at ground floor apartments, because sometimes you can see a ground floor apartment and they might have a little, they might have a terrace. They might have like a little garden, maybe a really small garden, but they're on the ground floor. They're at street level. Is it really nice to live at street level? Is it safe? I don't know. I don't think so. For me, what do I think? I don't mind first floor, second floor, third floor apartments. I don't like necessarily being at the very top because of the amount of stairs you have to walk up. But yeah, I think ground floor apartments. I've always felt uncomfortable with ground floor apartments. Um, and then we can also Leondina. I don't like living in a ground floor apartment, in a ground floor flat. Yeah, as in my opinion, it isn't too safe. I think that's the main thing. It's safety. We are going to talk a bit about safety today, actually, um, because I think the other thing when it comes to apartments is, well, here's a question: do you like to have? Do you like to have a balcony? For me, I think a balcony makes a big difference. Now, you might say to yourself, does it depend on what country? On which country? Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes you could be living in a rainy, wet place like the UK or Ireland. But I think a balcony, to have the option of a balcony is always nice. I think it's the option of having a balcony. If you have the option of a balcony, then it can be quite nice. I do like I like balconies actually. Um, so let me know what you think about balconies, and let me know what you think about these ones as well. Explain to you what they are. Okay, and we'll go over here. Okay. Yeah, let me know what you think about this. Terrace houses. What do you think? Now, terrace houses, for those of you who don't know, terrace houses are houses that are attached to one another um, in a row. So, house, 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 house. It's not two houses, it's a house, 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 house that take up an entire street. Leondina says to have a balcony is necessary, especially when you are living in front of the sea. I completely agree with you there. Alida says balconies are nice, but a bit dangerous if you have small kids. Yeah, small balconies, small children, definitely dangerous. Um, I think that would be one of my worries, having because I think it depends on the height of the balcony as well. Um, and like the safety element of it. I think generally speaking, it comes back to safety when it comes to apartments. Um, I've but what about terraced houses? What do you think of them? These are houses that take up an entire street. It's house, 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 one house after the other. Um, I think they can be okay. I mean, look, if you go around some parts of London, some parts of Dublin, Manchester, you can find a lot of nice terrace houses. Um, in Malta, you don't necessarily find terrace houses. You find plenty of apartments, so lots of flats. Um, terrace houses, not so much. Yeah, not so much. Okay, so I'm going to show you around a little bit of my apartment, but I'm going to show you a particular area, and I'm just going to talk about my preferences. So come with me, and we can have a little look at the different. Here we go. Nope, my Y. One second, my Y's are crossed over here. So let me show you around my apartment, and then you and I can tell you what I think about certain things to do with my apartment. What I would say is, hopefully the internet doesn't go. A little bit dark over here. Okay, so I think one of the really important bits of an apartment is the kitchen. And here I've got, in my apartment, it's a what we call an open plan kitchen. Okay, it's open and plan. So I'm just going to type that in, open plan kitchen. These are really, I'm a big fan of open plan kitchens. I'll see if I can type it while holding open plan. Yeah, open plan kit, open plan. Okay, this is where there's the kitchen and the sitting room are open plan, and it's usually to do with the kitchen. Actually, that's a bit better. Now you can see. Okay, and one of the things I'm going to show you here is what we call, if you can see, okay. Now, for those of you who might not know, some people might say this is a cooker. But I want to tell people, don't say cooker so much. We've got a few other terms for this. So when you, again, I'm talking about this over here, okay, where you cook. Now, don't forget, someone who is cooking is not a cooker. They are a cook. Cooker is a noun, and a cooker is the whole thing. So you can say cooker, but other than a cooker, okay, what are better words? Okay, what are better words for this? Weirds? No, words. There we go. Right, the first thing is going to be this. I'm going to go with electric, actually. Electric. So the first one is, well, it's not just, well, stove is one. Yes, you can call it a stove. You can also call it either an electric or a gas, yes, hob. And those are, now let me explain again, okay? So the whole thing is a stove, okay? Now, what is a hob? Well, I'll explain to you what a hob is, and hopefully you guys can see. You see the circles, each one is a hob, okay? And this is an electric hob, or rather than gas hob. Oh, okay, hobs can be plural, but the whole thing as well, you can call a hob, you can call a stove, an electric, you can say an electric stove, a gas stove. Now, in the past, I've always preferred gas because it's quicker. But these days, the electric stoves are really, really good. And I think they are safer. So for me, I prefer electric stoves or electric hobs. What about you guys? What do you prefer? Do you prefer electric stoves or gas hobs? Let me know in the comment section, in the live chat. The other thing I'm going to show you is something that, for me, doesn't really work at the moment. But okay, here you've got the microwave. This one here is a microwave and oven together. Microwave and oven. Always important. Then you've got a dishwasher. Let me know if you guys like a dishwasher where you wash dishes. Actually, here's something for you. Okay. What is this called? Okay, what is this called? It's always a little bit difficult to hold and type at the same time. Okay. Here, let me show you. Okay. What is that called? Can anyone tell me? Because some people get confused between two terms. I'm going to see what you guys write, and I will tell you which one is the correct one. But like I said, guys, What is the correct one over here? Okay, so if we're watching later, 14, we'll call it 15 minutes, okay? 15 minutes into the lesson, what is this called? What is the correct term for it? Okay, Alida says, I've always had gas hob. Here we don't have a lack of gas like in Europe. Yep. And they're probably really good. They're probably really good. Arena F says, I prefer a gas stove because we often do not have electricity. Arena F, I'm not surprised because also in Russia, you've got a lot of gas, so it makes a bit more sense. Francesca says sink. Yes, well done. You've got two choices, I was thinking there, and the two choices would have been a basin and a sink. This here is a kitchen sink, not a kitchen basin. It's a kitchen sink, okay? Kitchen sink. Well done. Let's see what else. Now, the other thing over here is, well, let's see actually. You've got, when you've got in your kitchen sink, can anyone tell me what is this called here in the right-hand corner of the screen? Okay, so I'm pointing towards this. Okay, can anyone tell me what is this called in English? Let me know in the comment section. So we're now at 16 minutes, 16 and a half minutes. What is this called over here? Okay. We'll see what you guys come out with. So this is just here the kitchen, and then over here you've got obviously you've got the TV, you've got the sitting room as well. Tap, yes, thank you, Leondina. Yeah, it is a tap. Good, well done. Okay, and that's the kitchen. That's the kitchen area as well. Actually, let me just show you one other thing while we're here. Yes, well done, Francesca. Okay, here's the fridge. But what I want to show you is this, okay? Now, it's food that I cooked yesterday, but I didn't eat all of it. So I've put it in Tupperware, and I've put it in the fridge. But this has a name. Can anyone tell me, so we're now at 18 minutes, can anyone tell me what we call food that we don't finish because we're going to eat it later? So what do we call food that we haven't finished but we're going to eat later? So let me know what you guys say about that, what the answer there is. And that's the main area of my apartment. Okay, so going out and back in. Okay. In terms of, I mean, there's the office area is not particularly interesting. Leftovers, says the leader, and you are absolutely correct. Yes, leftovers, leftover food, leftovers. Yeah, that's exactly what it's called in English, leftovers. And we've got a thing in English, a way of saying, rustle up some. How did I spell this? 1 second. There's a good word for what I'm looking for here. Okay, so when you've got leftovers and you want to do something with the leftovers, you can say this. A leader says, what are the fixed and what's the fixture and fittings? Fixture and fittings. You're going to have to tell me a little bit more, Alida, in terms of what you're referring to. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what you mean. We can say to. Okay. Got some leftovers. Okay, so here's some language for you. I've got some leftovers. Now, the verb to rustle. Let me rustle up some grub and I'll see what I can put together. Here's the question. You've got some new language here. So, a word that, well, a phrasal verb that means, let, okay, so we've got two words that we need to look at here, or two phrasal verbs. One phrasal verb means put together. The other word is another word for food. Okay, they're both informal. Can you tell me from that sentence which two we are looking at here? Okay. And then leader, yes. If you could just tell me a little bit more of the context about what are the fixture fittings. Um, exactly. So I know exactly what you are referring to. And yeah, then we've got this. I've got some leftovers. Let me rustle up some grub and I'll see what I can put together. So we've got this, we've got at least two to three new words there. Can you guys think of which phrasal verb? Okay, so Alida says fixtures are things like baths and sinks or door handles that are fixed in places and that stay in a house when it is sold. I see. Okay. So your question was, what are the fixture and fittings? Okay, well, in terms of things that are, now I know what you mean. I don't have a bath. I do have a shower. In terms of, there's a kitchen sink and there is a small there's a small bathroom base. Well, there's a small basin in the bathroom, obviously lavatory. The bed is fixed and the desk is fixed as well. So that's what I would say. Leondina says rustle up and grub. Yes, correct. That's correct. Well done. So to rustle up means to put together when we're talking about food. So answers. But to be honest with you, in terms of things that are fixed to this apartment, I can't say there's anything of really great interest at all. Not even, I mean, the doors aren't particularly interesting. They're fire doors. So yeah, A is rustle up and B is grub. Yeah, B is grub. So well done there and well done, Leondina. Good stuff. Okay. So other than that, apartment experience. Here I'm just going to talk about when we're going to talk about a experience here. We're obviously going to use the present perfect or past simple. Um, Now I'm going to tell you about okay the best, or shall I tell you about the worst? I think I'm going to tell you about the worst apartment I stayed in. The worst apartment I think I have ever stayed in was in my favorite city in the world, Firenze, in Florence. It was cold. The shower was terrible. Um, the the shower was one of those shower and baths. So it was a bath with a shower head. Okay, shower head is what you use to as the actual shower. Um, it was a gas stove, terrible, terrible gas stove. Um, and we would say, I think a good way to describe it is if you feel that if an apartment is cold, uh, it feels wet, wet in it feels wet inside and dirty. We can say the place feels uh, damp and dingy. Damp and dingy. So damp is it's wet. It's not really wet, but like if you put your hand on the wall, there's some water, or on the floor, there's always some kind of liquid. So that's a damp place. And then you've got this word dingy. Dingy is a really good one to know. It's okay. It's obviously going to be negative, dingy, damp and dingy. But dingy is like it's dark and it's dark and depressing. It's a damp and dingy place. Um, it's a place that makes you feel depressed, really. So a dark and depressing room. So I would describe the entire apartment as yeah, wet and dingy. Well, damp and dingy. That's the way I would describe it. I think I also shared an apartment with, well, a room with a complete stranger when I was there, and it was an apartment full of strangers. When I think back to it, I kind of think to myself, "What on earth was I thinking? Like, what was I thinking? I don't know. I really don't know what I was thinking. Actually, it's the sort of situation I just would not put myself in today. Um, yeah, so that would be the worst apartment. That would be the worst experience I've had. So yeah, dark and depressing place, a wet and a dingy place, a damp and dingy place. Um, and maybe, for instance, you might even say it looked shabby. So shabby is very untidy. Okay, very untidy. Um, it's dirty. Maybe the blinds or the curtains are falling off. The bed, you sit on the bed and you think the bed is going to break. That's like a shabby place. So let me know about your best or worst experiences. Now, if I had to think of the best experience, yeah, filthy, Alida. If it's shabby, it's going to be filthy. What's my best experience in terms of accommodation, apartments that I have lived in? I'm not going to include the apartment, let's say, like living with parents, with my parents. That does not count. That's an automatic yes. I would say, ooh, this is a difficult one. Which is the best one? You know what? I don't know. I don't know what the best apartment I can say I've lived in. Um, no, this is a hard one actually. But certain things, what do you want in an apartment? Well, the first thing is actually, I'm going to ask you guys, what do you want in your apartment? I'm going to give some options, and then you guys can come in and tell me. So, you've got natural light, so light from the outside, bright lights, um, lots of space, uh, carpets, carpets, you know, things that cover the floor to keep it warm. I don't like carpets, if I'm being honest. I really don't. Wooden floors, rugs. Rugs are not carpets, but they cover a bit of the floor. Um, Large windows, um, small bathroom, large bathroom, large sinks. Um, yeah, large sinks, for example. So Leondina said the worst apartment where she lived in, as well as being the best, was the house of my childhood because it was a ground floor apartment and too wet. And if you're going to use too wet, maybe you say, and it was too wet, or and very wet and too wet. No, I'm thinking, leave it as it is. I'm overthinking it. That's a good sentence, Leondina. Yeah, that's the thing though with ground floors. They do get very wet. Um, you can say like you can say that uh, water. There's a particular word that I'm thinking of actually, and the word I'm thinking of is this: seeps in, seeps, comes in slowly. This is used with liquid, specifically liquid, a lot. Okay, so you would say water seeps in, seeps. Okay, so it's coming in slowly, coming through the walls, the windows, anything like that. So word over here, guys, seeps. Can you make a sentence with seeps or seep? Okay, we'll leave it like that. What else? Okay, Alina says, I've only had a couple of years in apartments. Most of my life, I've lived in houses. I do miss living in a house, actually. It is nice to live in a house. Is it, is it semi-detached house or a fully detached house? So semi-detached, two houses next to each other. Fully detached, two separate houses. Evelina, large windows is a must. Is a must, not it a must. Not it must. Is a must because it's bright. That's what we're going for there. So really good sentence. I completely understood what you said, Evelina. So well done there. But to make it better, large windows. Oh, large windows are a must because they are bright, or because they make the rooms bright. Indiana says, uh, I like having in my apartment large windows to enjoy the view. Okay, I like having. I would say this. Okay, it's just a word order thing because the meaning's there. But we would say, Leondina, I like having large windows in my apartment. Um, you just need to think about what is the object of this sentence, the real object. I like having large windows. Yes, that is an object in my apartment. So if you're going to say, I like having something, but then you're going to add on where comes the location comes after the object that you're talking about. So it's subject, verb, object, location, for example. I like having um, big curtains in my house, for example. Okay, so subject plus verb plus object, and then plus location. Okay, Have a go, guys. See if you like to come in with your version of that. Alida says it's a semi-detached house, but it has a big backyard and a swimming pool that I love. Well, that sounds great. That sounds really good. You don't need a comma before that I love. It has a big backyard and a swimming pool that I love. You don't need a comma. If you put which, then yeah, but that, no. Evelina says, I prefer a fully detached house, but now I live in the flat. Now I live in. Now, this is an article, this is a rule thing. You are not up intermediate, so I don't expect you to know this rule. But I'm going to tell you guys anyway. I prefer a fully detached house, but now I live in a flat. We say a flat because we don't know this. It's the first time you are introducing something. Okay, the first time you introduce something without the full context, you're going to say a flat. Okay, so in this case, a flat. When you are introducing something for the first time, such as a flat, an animal, a bike, who knows? Okay. Like I said, Leandina, I don't expect you to know that. That's something you learn at a high level. But when you first introduce something, a topic, subject, an object for the first time, and there's no existing context for it, you go with the article a. Okay. And finally, what I'm going to say is a must-have in in my future home. A must-have in my future home. Now, I've got a few things as a must-have in my future home. Okay. First is for me. Now, you guys can come in and tell me afterwards. An open plan kitchen. Okay, I like to have a kitchen and my sitting room as one. Number two for me would be a, and it's a bit of a, I would say it's either or. Okay, I would say either a balcony or garden. I think that's important. Number three, and this is very much me, a wine cellar. And number four, my little my little library. And if I had to say a number five, I would say uh, on. Yeah, I'm going to go with this actually. We would say ensuite bathroom. I nearly forgot about this, but I think this is quite an important one. Number five, ensuite bathroom. Ensuite is your private bathroom. Okay, so private bathroom. It's attached to your bedroom. So for me, those would be the top five things in the future that for me would be a must, a must-have in my future home. What about you? What are the future must-haves in your future apartment or home in general? Do you agree with any of these things? A balcony, an open plan kitchen, a little library, a wine cellar, an ensuite bathroom. Maybe you could think of something else. I didn't say anything about a big TV or a type of sofa, a type of garage, maybe. It depends if you like cars. The more cars you have, the more you're into cars. The bigger the garage you would need. Can I think of anything else? You know what? You get used to maybe a private with these days working online, maybe you think you would want to have your own office, a proper office at home, its own room, your desk, you name it. Alida says, I would like a cozy little library just for myself. I think that's a great idea, Alida. I would have that as well. I would have a nice little library. I've been thinking about libraries recently because my personal book collection is growing and growing, and you you can always have more. You can always buy new books. Um, I think I would end up with maybe like a pull-out library. I think that's what I'm going to have a pull-out library where you just pull out and then you can see the books, all the books. Evelina says that for her, a garden, 2 garages maybe, or big kitchen. Oh, so, not two, sorry. So number 1, a garden. Number 2, a garage. And number 3, a big kitchen. Yeah, I think those are 3 very good ones. What is the difference between ensuite bathroom and a private bathroom? Francesca asks. Nothing. They are the same thing. An ensuite bathroom and a private bathroom are the same thing, Francesca. It's just that the term we use, we use the French term ensuite. Really, I think ensuite comes from French, to be honest. But that's the term we use, ensuite. And when you see the word ensuite, it means a private bathroom that is attached. And this is important. It is attached to your bedroom, so you go from your bedroom to the bathroom. So that's an ensuite, and that is what I mean by that's what we mean by a private bathroom. Leondina says, I would like an open plan kitchen and an ensuite bathroom. I mean, look, I think the ensuite bathroom is really important, especially if you are living with other people. The opposite, obviously, is a shared bathroom. Now, you always need, your general shared bathroom, one that guests can use. But yeah, my future home definitely need to have an ensuite bathroom. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that conversation today about. At the moment, we're exploring topics. We're looking just to have a discussion, and we build the language as we go along. A little bit. It's a bit different from the grammar lessons, and it's good for listening as well. So, guys, that brings me to the end of today's lesson. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Make sure you like the video. Thank you, Leondina, Francesca, Evelina, and Alida for your participation in the live chat section, and Arena F. I'll be back. Yeah, guys, make sure you like the video and subscribe if you are new. I will be back tomorrow at the same time. And just to remind you, tomorrow, I'm looking forward to tomorrow's lesson because the subject is habits and hobbies to cope with anxiety. So I'm going to share some things that I have been doing, and you guys can share with me. We get to talk about habits, which I know that habits and hobbies. I think what is it? Hobbies. I know some of you are looking at hobbies this week, and these things are very important when trying to cope, when trying to deal with anxiety. Alida said, okay, so Leondina says, thank you. See you tomorrow. You too, Leondina. Alida says, thanks. Take care. You too. Arena F says, thanks, Richard. Have a good evening. Take care. You too, Arena F. And Evelina says, thanks and have a great evening. You too, guys. Take care. Thank you for joining. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another live English lesson. Take care. Bye for now, guys.